Happy Crafternoon, everyone. It's Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today we're going to have fun because we're going to be playing with our new colors, and I'm going to show you some fun color combinations that you can use for layering stencils and your layering stamps using our new colors. I know everybody likes to know how the new colors fit into our existing line, and that's what today's video is going to be all about, today's live. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy Crafternoon, everybody.
I didn't even brush my hair. I don't know what's going on. I need Rena to get back from her vacation so that she can do my hair. How are you?
I am better than horrible. I like your fancy blouse there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Very nice. Yes.
It's very zen.
Yes.
It's got a bit of a mandala look to it, I guess.
You women do some strange things, though. The other night, Gina was walking around with flip-flops, like the kind with the toe separator thing, you know, and socks on, too. I said, doesn't that hurt? I don't know what that was all about, but...
I was cold. I had wool socks on, and I always wear my Vionic flip-flops around the house for my plantar fasciitis.
And you always make it work somehow, right? You do it.
Yeah.
I think you said you do what you have to do.
You get it done. That's what you do. You get the job done.
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, do you have a word of the day? We didn't even talk about that.
I have a word of the day.
All right. Awesome. Well, I will look forward to that.
Such as it is.
All right, well, let's talk about the new colors. So we've got these beautiful new colors in the Gina K Designs collection. They are Blue Sky. Let me take my watch off because my watch is telling me that I need to exercise. You don't need that kind of negativity in my life. Blue Sky, Emerald Coast, Sun-Kissed Coral, and Butterscotch. So these are our brand new colors. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to stencil up some cardstock to stencil, using the new double peony flower stencil that comes in the brand new Friendly Wishes kit. Now I really love this stencil. My daughter Alicia designed all these beautiful layers here for us, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different color combinations that I think look really great. And then I'll show you a couple cards that I already made using two of the color combinations. This way we can focus more on the colors today and how they look together than actually making a card. If I have time to make a card, I certainly will. But let's work on the colors first. And if you're taking notes, you know, it's a great time to take notes to see, you know, which of the colors will work better for colors that you have in your collection. I know I took the nails off. You know why? Because one popped off and I lost it, and it was the only one of that size in the pack. And I just didn't have another one to put on, so I just peeled the rest off. And I have like 6 packs of those nails, so I'm going to do another set very soon. But yeah, I know I took them off. But you can see, what's nice is you can see they don't damage your nails at all. Look how healthy my nails look underneath. I always keep them short just because if I am going to wear the impressed nails, I don't want my nails like sticking out underneath. And then otherwise, my nails aren't that strong because of all my health issues. So, you know, but you could see they didn't do any damage to the nails at all. And they do stay on pretty well. The problem is I put lotion on before I put the nails on yesterday, and I forgot to use the little prep pad. So my nails were a little bit not prepped under there, and I threw them on really fast. So that's why I took them off. But if you want to see what they look like, watch Tuesday's video, because they were really a pretty style. They were called Fly Up. But like I said, I have like 6, maybe even 7 packs at home. All right, so this layering stencil has 2 pieces for the flower and 2 pieces for the leaves. So I'm going to focus on the flowers first, and with the flowers, I'm going to use the blue, the Blue Sky, the Sun-Kissed Coral, and the Butterscotch. And then I'm going to use this for one of the leaves. the Emerald Coast, and show you a nice color combination for that as well. So let's start with just some cardstock. I am going to get my grip mat, and somebody asked earlier if the grip mat, how to clean it. Well, because it is a photopolymer stamp, you clean it the same way you would clean your stamps. So a little bit of stamp cleaner is fine. You can use your tidy towel for it, or you can just take it to the sink and rinse it with some water. But we're going to just use it directly on the tabletop today because we're not doing any stamping. And I did want to let you know that we do have an expansion pack for our color labels. It's got 3 sets of the labels. I've already put mine on the sides here of my ink pads, but they work for the ink cubes. They work for stamp pockets if you want to organize your scraps of cardstock, or you like to cut your cardstock in half and put them in the stamp pockets. You can also label your stamp pockets that way. Some people use big folders, file folders. You can use these for file folders as well. So this is a nice add-on, but if you've never purchased any of our color labels at all, and you're thinking, now is the time, don't get the expansion pack, just get our brand new set of color labels. We revised them to include all of the new colors in here. So we've got Emerald Coast right there. We've got Butterscotch up here. We've got, let's see, Sun-Kissed Coral over here, and Blue Sky right here. So the new set of color labels has everything. So you only need 1 pack of these. There's 2 sheets in here, so you might want to pick up 2 of them if you really like to label every single thing that has to do with those same colors. You might want to pick up 2 packs. But this is great if you're just starting out. If you've already gotten our old ones, then just grab the expansion pack. And also, a lot of people ask, what is the best way to organize your ink pads on your ink pad rack? Well, my opinion, some people like to do alphabetical because they know the colors like the back of their hand. So if they're looking for apple mint, they just want to look under A. And I get that. But for me, I'm a very visual person, and I love the look of a rainbow in the craft room. So Brian designed these to be in rainbow order. And this, if you're not sure how to organize them, try this order from the color labels. Let me open one of these too and just show you, because these color labels, they're actually a really good chart for, you know, blending colors together. It's got everything here. Now down here, these plain ones are our neons, because you can't really create neon with this process that we're doing. You can print in neon colors, but it doesn't really look like neon. So what I did with my neon pads, and I'll show you, I took the pad, I took this, and okay, let me grab one of these here. These are our Masking Magic strips, right? So once I use a full pack of Masking Magic strips, I always keep this liner, because this liner allows you to do things to things that have stickiness on them. So if I took this blaring blue and I wanted to ink it up, I could put it on this liner, and I could ink it up on the liner, and then it will peel right off again without any damage to the backing. So that's why I always keep a few of these sheets, these liners from these sheets, once I've used up all the strips. And what I did with these was I took them off and I put them on a blank liner, and then I actually inked them up using the ink pad itself. So you can see these are my neon inks, and I used the ink. So it's hard to get like this neon pink color. See how the pinks are more muted in here rather than this neon? Same with like, you know, this is such a neon yellow. You can get a bright yellow, but not that neon glow. So when Brian and I were talking about how to configure the neons, I said, why don't you leave them white, and then as people collect the neon pads, they can actually colorize their labels themselves. So that's how I did those. And I have my neon pads, and I have a whole set of neon brushes up here because neon inks have a different property to them. And so I just have a set of brushes up here that are all my neon ones that I grab whenever I want to do neon inking. So yeah, it's good, and it makes them the exact color of what the pads will dry up to once they're dry. So that's nice. But Brian did a great job with these because these are like, they're so exact, and they really, really look just like the colors. So I wanted to show you those. These are a great reference. And I was going to say, these are a great reference too, because you can use this. I mean, let's say you get 2 packs of these and you use 1 pack for your ink pads, 1 for your reinkers, and 1 for your cardstock scraps. You're going to have 1 left. You could put it in a protective sheet in a binder, and this would be a great color chart for you to refer to when you're looking for colors that work well together. Now, looking here, I can see that butterscotch and sweet corn are going to look really nice together, but if I wanted butterscotch to be my light color, I could see here on an angle that sweet mango or honey mustard are going to look really nice together too. Same with blue sky. Blue sky on an angle here looks great with blue raspberry, but the next one in line is powder blue. So blue sky and powder blue are going to look really nice together. Then if you want to go real dark, you can go into blue denim. So this color chart lets you know what colors are kind of next to each other. And that makes it a little bit easier when you're just experimenting with colors. Yeah, and they work really nicely on the cubes too. I put mine, I'll tell you what I think is a good idea for the cubes. So for the cubes, because the name is on the lid, I would put the label on the black part, because I've had people say that, you know, they had all of their ink cubes in a little container and they dropped it and the lids all came off and they didn't know what was what. So since our ink cubes don't have a label on the bottom, you could take this label and just wrap it around the bottom here, and that is a great way to organize your cubes. Then if you stack them or you put them in the drawer on the side or whatever, you'll be able to see the color names as well. Now, I did see somebody say that they stored their ink pads on the side like this way, so you could put them here if you want, so you could see them easier. Or if you store them this way, you could put them here. I would just be a little bit careful storing your ink pads on the side, because these are pretty juicy and pretty full. And if for some reason they leak, you're going to have a mess in your drawer. So what I would say is, if you're going to do it that way, it's okay to do it that way. If something leaks, you can always clean it with a little bit of alcohol on the side. Just don't get the alcohol on the top, because it'll take off the screen. These are screen printed on, and alcohol will remove that. So don't use stamp cleaner or alcohol on the top, just water on the top. But you know, I would put some contact paper in the bottom of your drawer just in case, so you can clean it up easily and it doesn't stain your wood. All right, so let's get a piece of cardstock here, and we're just going to put that right here on our grip mat. This is our little grip mat here. It's a 3-in-1 because it's got a grip mat on this side, but it's got 2 different background stamp designs on the other side. So, you know, why not? You're paying for a piece of polymer anyway. Why not get a beautiful design on the other side that you can use? 2 beautiful designs. And again, this grip mat will clean up very easily with stamp cleaner or with your tidy towel. So you can clean it that way. And of course, you can always just go rinse it at the sink. All right. Now I'm going to just pop this piece of cardstock on here, and I'm going to start with layer 1. So I'm going to put that on top. Now you can do it any way you want. If you want to have a guide of where you're putting it, you can always like put it right to the edge of the grip mat, and then you can put a little piece of tape right here along the edge, not on it, but right along the edge. This way you know that when you pull this off, your next spot is going to go right to the edge and right up to that line. That's one way to do it. Just put a little piece of tape there. But it's, you know, this particular layering stencil is so easy to line up that I wouldn't even worry about it. You'll be able to see it very clearly. So we're just going to pop this on right here. Let's see. I think that'll look good. We'll just do it right in the center like that. And you want to make sure that your words are in the same spot on each layer. That'll make it easy to line it up too. So one of my favorite tools that I have in my craft room is my ink stand. And I would definitely suggest you picking up some ink stands. These are by my friend Brianne Loveland. Shout out to Brianne. I know she's helping out in the chat with all of the links. She will link her ink stand for you so that you can find it. It is such a great way to free up your hands when you're doing this kind of inking. It just stabilizes your ink pad. You don't have to worry about getting ink on your fingers and stuff. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with, let's start with the Butterscotch. So we're going to start with Butterscotch as the darker color. So I would recommend for Butterscotch that you use sweet corn as your lighter color. So let's start with sweet corn. And I need to find a brush for that. Let me find a brush that doesn't have the wrong color on it. Let me clean this off here. Now, if your brushes, I mean, this is just a lesson in ink today, I guess. If your brushes get a little crunchy ever, because sometimes with certain ink colors, they have a little touch of pigment in them just to get the color bright enough. Not enough to be called a pigment ink, but enough to possibly make your bristles a little crunchy. So if you, and your Distress Oxide inks, if you have brushes for your oxide inks, you may find that they get crunchy over time. I've said this a million times before, I'll say it again. When it comes to washing your brushes, water pooling in the casing here can make your brush head fall out. It loosens the glue. So what I suggest is, rather than washing your brushes, just put a little bit of rubbing alcohol onto a paper towel and just rub your bristles over the rubbing alcohol. Don't saturate your brush head in alcohol because it will definitely loosen the glue. You don't want to do that. Hey, Kathy Zilski. You definitely want to make sure that you're not getting rubbing alcohol in here. Rubbing alcohol takes adhesive off. So you may have found at times where you've got a little bit of sticky stuff on a dish that you bought, a little rubbing alcohol take that adhesive right off. So we don't want to saturate the brush head with alcohol. But the bristles are fine. So you can see, like, did you see how much cleaner that brush got? All right, so, and the thing that I like about using the alcohol is it dries instantly. It just evaporates. So you definitely, it gets so smooth again, like a brand new brush. It's not crunchy at all. So just try that and see how nice and clean any crunchy brush that you have will get when you use a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And then just make sure that you dry it completely on that piece of paper towel. You can feel it. It'll be pretty dry. You will not be able to do that if you do the same thing with water. Water is going to take a little while to dry. So, okay. So I'm going to start with some sweet corn. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to start in here on the big area, right in the center. Just kind of working my way out so that it gets nice and pale along the outside. Now, sweet corn has always been our ink color that was very creamy yellow, buttery yellow, and I think it still is. But then when you look at it next to this is really warm. It's almost like we took sweet corn and we just put a little splash of pumpkin in there or something. It's such a pretty color. So this is a great light color if you want Butterscotch to be your darker version. So there we go. There's our first layer. And now let's look at that's so pretty, right? Let's look at Butterscotch next to the sweet corn. All right, so we're going to take layer 2 and we're going to put that right up in there. See, it's pretty easy to see because once you get it lined up, everything else, all the little white marks completely disappear. So you won't see that anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to use butterscotch. Let's close up sweet corn because we're not going to need that anymore. Now I think I'm going to use the same brush since I'm only going to be doing these 2 passes on this. And then butterscotch is going to be my next color that I'm going to use when I show you butterscotch as the lighter color. So we've got all this in place. Look at how pretty that color is. It's such a pop of color. Now, you know, a lot of times we can be really swayed by our memory, and we look at something like this and we go, oh, that looks like honey mustard. It does not look like honey mustard. Honey mustard, let me grab it. Honey mustard is so much darker. And honey mustard, some people will put honey mustard in their collection closer to the browns because it's got the true color of like a honey mustard, which is kind of a brown. This, when this dries up, this is a buttery butterscotch color. So look how pretty those 2 look together. Isn't that lovely? I really like these 2. So I'm going to put this one aside, and I'm going to take pictures of all of these so that you can see what they look like, and I will label them, you know, sweet corn and honey mustard in the photo, and I'll share those photos over in our Facebook group and on the community tab here on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. So let me put these securely away, and then I am going to clean the stencils with some quick rubbing alcohol. But I really love this color, and then we'll look at them after they've had a chance to dry because, like I said, you know, once these colors dry, they dry up to the color that the lid is. So this is going to get a lot lighter as it dries. Don't be swayed by that initial look that you think, oh gosh, that's darker than I thought. It is darker, but it won't stay that dark. Okay, so now let's do another one here. We're going to do butterscotch as the light color. So let's lay that on here. We'll do butterscotch as the light color. So I can use that same butterscotch brush that I was using. And we'll get that down. I really love this new color. It's so sunny. It feels so summery and springy. Last night I took a picture of the sunset and it was so beautiful. And it's getting lighter later, and I have so much hope for spring. And I know my friends that are watching in Australia are saying, please don't rush it, because that means they're going to have winter. And I feel for you, but I am so excited for spring. I know it's January, but it's not going to be January for much longer. Okay, so now I'm going to mix some sweet mango. I feel like sweet mango is such a great secondary color for butterscotch. Okay, so let's get an orange brush. Do I not have an orange brush? Here's an orange brush. Okay, so I'm going to mix some sweet mango into this. Actually, I probably should change the stencil. Almost forgot. Okay, and again, you can watch how easy it is. See how you see all the white, and then once you hit the right spot and all that white disappears, you know you're in the right spot. Okay, so now we're going to use some sweet mango. And I love this color combination. I think this is my favorite, using the butterscotch as the light color.
Quick question from Sue. Using a big background stamp for a grip mat is a good idea, but will the side with the stamp image get damaged by leaning on it?
No. Not at all. Photopolymer, like, it's baked in there, and it's not gonna, I mean, I'm leaning all over this and it'll work just fine. There won't be any problems with that at all. Okay, so this color combination is spectacular. Now look at the difference. See how this is already lightening up to that lighter tone? Look at this. I love these colors. So let me show you a card I made with this color combination. And once it lightens up, it's going to lighten up to this. And I made this card. Here I used jelly bean green and fresh asparagus on that. But isn't that just a nice color combination? It's soft. It's very peachy once everything lightens up. Because this orange, you know, it gets softer because you're laying it over yellow. So isn't that pretty? And again, you could see like this I made a few days ago, so it is completely dry, completely lightened up, and you can see the difference when you first do it versus when you let it dry. So, and the greeting came from the Spring Clusters stamp set and stamp and die bundle that's in the kit. And then there's a third little layer here of the stencil. Let's see here. It's actually the fourth layer. It has the veins, but it also has the centers of these flowers. And I just used black onyx on this one, just to pop a little black into that. So I'll take a picture of this card too and share it because it's so easy. All you have to do is, lay those colors on there, and then I just cut that out with Master Layouts too and popped a greeting on. Such a fast card. These are the kind of cards I like to make and give as like a box of cards to somebody because it's just such an easy, you can make 6 of them, in 30 minutes and they're ready to go. Pop them in with some envelopes, so really quick.
And that color cardstock?
This color cardstock is the Butterscotch. So it is our brand new, I'll show you that right here. It's our brand new Butterscotch. So where did the ink pad go? Here it is. Yep. And we have a sweet corn cardstock. Let's see, do I have it over here? Oh, I do have it somewhere. Let me show you what that looks like. So you can definitely see the difference between the sweet corn and the Butterscotch. And sweet corn has always been that warm yellow for Gina K Designs, but with this this is kind of it. Butterscotch. It could be cantaloupe, a little bit like of a melon kind of color. So if that helps you determine, especially looking at it through a screen, everything looks different when you get it in person. So okay, we're gonna put these aside. And I'm going to put this card aside. So now let's move into a different color combination. Let's play a little bit with the Sun-Kissed Coral and take a look at what that's going to look like and what works good with that. So now you've got 3 colors that work well with the Butterscotch. And remember, if you're looking for 3 different colors that work nicely together, like a light, medium, and dark, you could go sweet corn, butterscotch, sweet mango. Let me get out of that where the screen is. Sweet corn, butterscotch, sweet mango, or you could go sweet corn, butterscotch, and honey mustard and get your light, medium, and dark. So for those of you that have like 3-step things that you want to do, either one of these combinations is going to look really good together. This one will give you a little bit more of a peachy look when it's all done, a little warmer. This will really kind of stick in the yellow vein. Okay, so there we go. Let's put those away and let's get Sun-Kissed Coral in the mix. Okay. So I have another piece of cardstock here. You know what's nice about this? I'm just like building up some card panels here too. All I have to do is add leaves and I can use that for a box of cards. Now remember, with a stencil like this, it's so easy. If you would like it to go the other way, just flip it over. So let's flip this one over because we can make the opposite look, which is nice. Sometimes you want to have like flowers at the bottom and then you want to have flowers at the top. So you can do this part of the stencil down here, clean it off, flip it, and do like this part up here, and you can kind of have this cascading thing. So come in here and then come in here, and it'll just be like that. So let's do the opposite this time. Why not? We'll see how it looks. So if you wanted to use Sun-Kissed Coral as your darker color, then I would suggest mixing it with either Coral Reef or even going with, ooh, where are all my inks? Going with something like, you could go with Dark Carnation. That's a beautiful color combination. Or if you want it even bolder, let me try to find my ink here. Where's my Red Hot? Oh, it's over here. Red Hot. So depending on which look you're going for, you can go, this will keep it more in the pink tones, Dark Carnation. This will keep it more in the corally orangey tones, and then this will add that little pop of bright red. Debbie, I store my grip mat right in my Misty. I just leave it there all the time because I don't use the pad or the magnet anymore now that I have this. It's too easy to use this grip mat. So I just keep it in my Misty now, and I know I'll always find it. Now that will be these will be the perfect options. Let's just do 2 of them. We'll start with the Sun-Kissed Coral here. So I'm going to need some blending brushes. I just took a pack of new blending brushes because I don't have a lot of blending brushes, and I want some of these colors to be really pure and true for you. So nothing like a new blending brush, right? All right, so we're gonna ink this up. When I was working earlier, I just was using a small blending brush, and these are called minis. These are called standard, these are called minis, and then these are called detail brushes. So I was using a mini, but I am gonna use a standard one for this. This is, oh, I love this color. This is another one of those colors that we really needed in our collection because the coral that we had was definitely a very red coral, like a calypso coral. And this is definitely a softer coral. So I'm going to stop there, and then I am going to add, let's take a look at the Red Hot with it, because I feel like that's going to be like, that's going to really pop. So we're going to flip that over, line that up, and I'm not going to damage this brush. I'm going to get my red brush from over here. Here's my big old dirty red brush. Yeah, we are going to need a storage solution when we bring out more mats, but I would say then put them back on their sheets and use a large stamp pocket. I have my 2 sheets, my clear sheet and my index sheet, in a large stamp pocket to show you that it'll fit. So it will fit in a regular stamp pocket. And then you could just label it as Grip Mat Double Background 1. And then the next one will be Grip Mat Double Background 2. Okay, so the color that I just used is the Sun-Kissed Coral. Now I'm going to add a little bit of Red Hot with that. I really like this combination. I really need to give all my brushes a little alcohol bath. Because after a while, especially colors that you don't use very much, they can get a little crunchy. So, isn't that pretty together? I love that. So this is the Sun-Kissed Coral and Red Hot. Now I believe Dark Carnation would be definitely like more vibrant, that darker color. So why don't we do it just to show, just to see what it looks like. So we'll go back here again. I didn't have to clean this. And we're going to go again with that lighter brush. Oh no! I went on the Red Hot. So I'll just clean that real quick. That's easy to do. See, Brienne, I should have had both of my, that's all clean now. I should have had both of my ink stands here in play, because then that wouldn't have happened. I would have seen the right color lid. Get more than one ink stand. I promise you, you won't regret it. Okay, so this is all clean again. So we're gonna start with that beautiful sun-kissed coral. I would like a lipstick this color, actually. I think that would be really pretty. For my lipstick get girlies out there, definitely be a beautiful lipstick color. Now, I'm going to change this to the dark Carnation. This is definitely a pinker color. So let's clean this off with a piece of paper towel and some alcohol, just to get that red off of there. It's not far from red, but you know, we don't want anything to taint the color because we want to give you the true look here. And then I'm gonna find my Carnation brushes. Here's one of my Carnation brushes. I know they really look similar, but let's see what this looks like. Okay. My little woodpecker sound. Okay. Oh yeah, this is just got like a real berry feel to it. It pops in a different way. All right, let's take a look at that. So here's the dark Carnation. Here's the red hot. You see how this is like softer? It's just, you know, it's more true red where this is just deeper. This has got more pink in it. It's like just deeper. I gotta get all my Italian hand gestures in there. So I'll take some pictures of those for you. I think I like this one the best. That's really pretty. Okay, now if you want to go lighter with the sun-kissed, not the sun-kissed, yeah, the sun-kissed coral, I would say Peach Bellini is going to be a really pretty color, and also Dusty Rose. Dusty Rose. Either one of these is going to look really good. Dusty Rose looks so pink next to sun-kissed coral, where Dusty Rose has always looked so coral next to our pinks. Let me show you what I mean. Here's Bubblegum. See how, like, you know, if this wasn't in the picture, see how coral that looks? Compared to this true, you know, pink, like has that bluish pink undertone, that mix of purple in there. This has always looked so much more like a salmon, but now with this, changes the whole thing, right? Let's go with the Peach Bellini though, and let's see how these look together. Okay, I'm gonna need a little more cardstock. How's everybody doing out there? It's great to see you. Welcome everybody, by the way. I know that a lot of you are making time for us during lunch, and we appreciate that. Lunchtime, crafternoon. Okay. So I'm going to clean this one, and we're going to start with the peach. And I think this is going to give us a whole different look here. So we get this on here. I'm going to flip this around. We'll do this one this way, just because of where I put the cardstock. Okay, so let me move these brushes out of here so I don't mess that up. And I have a peach brush somewhere. Clean it just a little bit because I don't know what's on there. I think that this might be a combination Dusty Rose Peach Bellini brush. Okay, Yeah, try giving your blending brushes a little scrub, and you'll be shocked at how soft they come up right away again. But again, don't saturate them. That'll definitely create a problem for the casing. The head will fall out. But if you're trying to get you know, sticky stuff off, alcohol's great for that, but you don't want to remove your sticky stuff from your brush head. You want it to stick. Okay, so this is Peach Bellini. Peach Bellini is such a great color too. Do you guys have colors in your collection that you absolutely love and never remember to use? I do that, you know, I get hooked on, okay, it's going to be all blues and all that, and I totally forget how pretty some of these colors are until I do a video like this and I work with them again. That is a beautiful peach. So let's clean this stencil, what's left on here, and then we'll add the sun-kissed coral on top. Okay. Always clean front and back too, because it seeps through. All right, we'll get this on here. And then we're going to add a little bit of the sun-kissed coral. And it's so interesting how when you're laying one color on top of the other color, how something that looked so pink up against the carnation, the dark carnation, and even the red looks so peach when you put it with the Peach Bellini. Look at that beautiful color combination. And see what I mean? How pinky it looks over here? This outside color, this large, you know, the lighter color is the same color as this color in here, but when you mix them together, you can really see the difference. Love that. So again, to make this easier for you, I will take pictures of these. Now this is the one with dark carnation. This is the one with red hot. This feels softer to me, but it's still, this color looks totally pink compared to this color in here that really looks peach. But that's because of what they're mixed with. I know, it's hard to decide, right? Which one is the fave? But I'll definitely take, like I said, I'll label all of these too so that you kind of have a pictorial reference online. But then, you know, this is kind of a fun way to swatch your colors too. People do these swatches, which is great to have a swatch of the color and see the color. But that's not the full picture, because when you are doing layering stencils, it is nice to have some swatches of what different colors mixed together look like, because as you can see, they look completely different once they're mixed. Okay, so now let's move into the blues. Blues, I love the blues. So here's our blue sky, our brand new blue sky. And I feel like blue sky is such a light color that it's really meant to be the lighter version of whatever you're going to do. I really like it with powder blue as a darker color because they're both they're not a green blue. They would be more of a purple blue, if that makes sense. So purple blues don't have any of those green undertones. Emerald Coast is a green with a hint of blue in it. And Blue Sky is a blue with a hint of purple in it. Okay, so, I mean, that's, you know, the background of these colors. So let's do the blue sky as the light color, and let's do the powder blue as the darker color. So we'll get our big stencil. Put that on and then we'll do the blue sky first. I only had a tiny brush with blue sky on it, so we'll start with the blue sky. I've got some paper towel shred on here, and I don't want that to ruin my card, so let me, there we go. So we'll start with the blue sky. It's such a true blue, and you can really see, you know, we've been going along in our collection without this color, without anything close to this color, really. All of the blues that we've been working with have that hint of green, like sea glass and ocean mist and turquoise sea. And, you know, that's because those colors are, I love those colors, so I tend to gravitate to those. But now that you've seen this blue sky, it's so different. Let me pull like sea glass. You see how green sea glass looks next to this? It's got such a green undertone to it. And also turquoise sea. It looks so dark now. This used to be my light blue, but it looks so dark and doesn't pop the same way. So it's neat to see the colors next to each other. It gives you you know, that little visual that you need.
Okay, so Jill wants to know, will you ever do embossing tutorials? You have a few of those,
Embossing?
Don't you? Yes.
Like embossing folders or embossing powder? Let's see what she means. I have all of those on my channel, like millions of those videos. But I could at least help direct you to some of those videos on my channel if that's what you're looking for, but I don't know which one you want, embossing powder or embossing folders. Okay, so now we need a powder blue brush, and let's just not damage the color at all with anything. Let's just use a brand new brush here so you can see powder blue. So powder blue, oh, look at that.
This is one of Alicia's stencils, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, almost every one of our layering flowers is my daughter Alicia's. Okay, wait till you see this color combination together. Wow. Isn't that pretty? It's so soft. Now remember, the powder blue is going to dry up a little bit, and you're gonna see this color is going to get a little closer to the blue sky, and I think it's just a gorgeous combination. But now let's look at blue sky with what I think is a super fun color. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. Blue raspberry. And you can see blue raspberry is so vibrant compared to powder blue, right? Powder blue is almost hitting a periwinkle. And then blue raspberry is that like true gemmy blue. So let's try these two colors together and take a look at those. Okay.
Question, you don't need to dry the ink between layers?
No. No, and because they're dye ink and they're water-based ink, they almost reactivate each other a little bit when you start inking anyway. And that's a good thing when you're blending because you kind of want the inks to blend together a little bit. So I kind of like that. All right, so I think I'm all clean here. If you want to wait for them to dry, you certainly can though. I mean, there's no rules, but you don't need to at all. Okay, so we're going to go back to blue sky again. I know, I love blues too. When I was a little girl, my whole bedroom was blue. And it was like, it was definitely this color blue too. I know, shocker, right? This color just, when you see it in real life, it'll light up your world. Just beautiful. And of course, we're giving that one a chance to completely dry over there. Although dye inks dry enough that you never have to worry about like smearing them, they still, you know, the paper's porous, so it seeps into the paper, and it does take a hot minute for it to completely dry. Okay, so now, again, I want to give you the trueness of blue raspberry. So I have one more new blending brush here that I can use. Okay, so let's go with the blue raspberry over here. And we'll go with a brand new blending brush just so there's no, you know, no contamination at all. Ooh, that's so vibrant. That glows. I don't know if I nailed this one perfectly as far as lining it up, but close enough. Better than horrible. Look at those colors together. And when this dries down, this is spectacular. Now look, this is already dried down. And see how soft that got compared to the vibrance of this? Let me show you this combination on a card that I already made, and you can see what happens once it dries down to the true color. So here it is. That's what this is going to dry down to. And you can really see the difference between these two now that this one has dried down as well. So for this one, I flipped the stencil compared to that first card, and everything is going this way. And I used a little bit of the butterscotch in here instead of the black. In the first card that I showed you, I went with black in the center, but this one I did a little pop of yellow, which I think is pretty too. So
boy, those colors are some moving targets. They change as they dry, they change depending on what you have next to them.
Right. Exactly. And that's why I think it's so important not just to swatch your colors, but to swatch your color combinations, because you can really see, you know, what's going on with those colors once they blend together. All right. So those are our blues. And again, I will definitely show you more of those. I will index that for you and take pictures. Okay, so show you the emerald. So I'm going to do it on the flowers, even though I think emerald is kind of it's a green, so it makes a little more sense to use the emerald on leaves instead. But for the purpose of today's demonstration, I think it's really helpful to see it on the same exact flower designs. So we're going to use the big one again. And we're going to put this here, and we'll get our emerald. And I already have a brush here that I used for emerald. And again, if the brushes ever feel crunchy, just go ahead and give them a quick rub with alcohol. I'm sure, I mean, if you take anything away from today, this tip is probably the most fun tip out of all, because it just reactivates your brushes and it just makes them nice and smooth again. That feels like brand new. You're never going to get the color out because, you know, colors stain, but it's definitely clean and soft again. And that's what you want, because if you have crunchy brushes, you're not going to get smooth ink blending. But if you have soft bristles, the softer the bristle, the softer the ink blending, the better it's going to look. And you can use this with same tips with other blending brushes too, not just the Gina K Designs ones. Okay, so we're going to start with the Emerald Coast. This color is such a wow. Look at the vibrant. I don't want to do anything else to this color. I just want to see this color. So this color was named after one of my favorite beach destinations in the United States. There's an area in Florida called Destin, Florida. It's up near the Panhandle, Panama Beach. What are some of the other areas up there? Fort something, Tom?
Fort Walton?
Fort Walton Beach. And the water up there is different than the Caribbean and most of Florida. The water up there, they call it the Emerald Coast because the water is truly this emerald color. It is so beautiful there. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it. Go when it's a little warmer because it does get cold up there in the winter, or at least cold by Florida standards, you know. Can get into the 50s and 60s, not beach weather necessarily. But man, that water is breathtaking if you've ever been there and you've ever seen it. Just Google it. Google Destin, Florida beach, and this is the color the water is. It's so cool. It's emerald. And so this color was a color that was missing in our collection, and it was definitely one that I wanted for our collection. Now, I don't know necessarily that I would do this for flowers. I might stick with a teal, like Tranquil Teal would be a really pretty one. Let's see where that is. Tranquil Teal would be a nice addition to this if you just wanted to add a little bit of shading. But I might not even add it as the full color. I might just take one of our detail brushes and maybe just do a tiny little bit of shading in different spots on this. Like maybe just a little bit around the perimeters of some of these. Rather than going with that whole full second stencil, I might do something more like this. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Just a little bit of the Tranquil Teal, just around different parts of the flower. Let's look at that now. You can see what that will look like. See how that just enhances it a little bit? I like that. I think teal would be a good one for that if you were doing it for a flower. You wouldn't even really need that second layer. Just kind of add it in there. But if you were doing it for leaves, I would suggest trying the, I'm going to do a little more in here because I think that color combination is really pretty. Makes it kind of glowy. I would use Christmas pine, or you could use one of the spruces. Either combination, spruce or pine, would look really good. Now, I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to, look at that. That's really pretty. Well, this is the smaller stencil. What am I talking about? It is the smaller stencil. This idea might have been better using the bigger stencil because you don't really have to, you don't have to fill in the whole thing. But that's really pretty. So Tranquil Teal is a good combination. But let's try the Christmas pine. And let me find, I'm gonna do one of these little brushes, the minis. Now you see what I'm doing here today, guys? I am not creating a card, but I'm having so much fun. I hope you're having fun too. And these are the kinds of things that I suggest you do when you don't know what to do, right? This is like, it's playing, it's getting inky, it's experimenting with your supplies. Maybe you save these and make a few little swatches and just, have a little bit of fun with your tools and supplies. Okay, now we're pulling this Christmas pine in here. And you can imagine what this would look like on leaves. I just wanted to cover some of that up. So I feel like that would look really nice with leaves. Now I want to show you because I did something similar to that on one of these cards. here with this is just a card. I took a tiny brush and I just added a little bit of, well, this is teal, but you could see, you could just add it at the bases of this. If I did this color on here and just a tiny little touch of it, it would also look really pretty. But I feel like and again, this is what's good about experimenting. My pick, Tranquil Teal over Christmas Pine. Now I'm going to put this back on here, and I'm just going to fill in the whole thing with the Tranquil Teal. Now that we know we like it, I'm going to fill it all in with Tranquil Teal. So let me get Tranquil Teal back into my inkstand. And we'll fill this whole layer in with Tranquil Teal. Because this layer is already built in for creating the shading. And at least we'll be able to see both side by side here. And then again, you got to wait for everything to dry up, because that dark color is always going to look very dark when you first pull the stencil off. But then when you give it a chance to dry up, it's going to be a little bit lighter. It's going to be the color that the lid is. Okay, so that's kind of filling that in. There we go. Yep, my choice, Tranquil Teal. But I also like the way they look together on one card, and I think that that's kind of cool. I didn't nail this perfectly, so I could go in and fix that a little bit. This way it's going to make a little more sense. We can go in and fill in those areas with that Christmas Pine. And again, try your spruces and see how you like those, because the spruces are a more blue-green as well than a yellowy green, like a jelly bean or a fresh asparagus. And then you could see, like, there we go. Look at that compared to our blues. You can really feel all of that green in there compared to the blues. These blues just pop so much, and this is so green. Now, if I had done this same flower with sea glass and turquoise sea, it would look completely different. These are definitely more green-oriented. Tranquil Teal and, turquoise sea and sea glass, they are definitely more blue, but not anywhere near as blue as these. So it would be like if you took this and you took that and they had a baby, then they would make like sea glass and turquoise sea. So you've got all those different shades to play with together. All right, well, I don't have anything more to share today other than those combinations. I think the combinations are so pretty. I will show you the cards again, just so that if you're looking for card ideas with your new kit and you wanted to use the new stencil, this is the double peony stencil that comes in the kit. And there are two really pretty cards that you can make quickly. And the greetings are also from the kit. I used this stamp set and die bundle, the spring clusters, and I did the happy birthday best friend and then the hello friend on these. So there's some card ideas using some of those color combinations that we shared today. So Tom, before we go any further, I know people want a word of the day, and we didn't do that, so we have to do your word of the day.
Okay, it's a quick one.
It's a quick one?
Mercifully.
Okay.
Okay, so you can make cards for all kinds of occasions.
Yes.
So what kind of card would you make if you were sending a card, if you just found out that a good friend is suffering from a really bad shellfish allergy?
I don't know.
Well, if that were to happen, you, of course, would be sending out a shrimpathy card. right?
Yes.
That's what you would send.
A shrimpathy card.
A shrimpathy card. Get that right out.
Or a get shell soon.
Get shell soon. Yeah.
I love it. A shrimpathy card. Oh, Tom. Do you lay awake at night to try to think of these?
I never lay awake at night.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, Tom, come back because we need to give away a gift card today.
All right. Gift card time. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Recovering from that. Okay. Okay. So, drum roll, please. The winner today is Mary Kersch. Mary Kersch, you're the winner.
Congratulations, Mary. You are the winner. Oh, my goodness. Yay. Mary, all you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get that gift card out to you. So let's take a look at the overhead one more time. Here are all the different color combinations that we did today. You can see now that they've dried up a bit, they look a lot different than when I was actually working on them. So I'll take pictures of them and share them in the group. And it's hard to believe that all of these cards, you know, are made with some consistent single colors in there. Because like these three right here all have sun-kissed coral in them. And look how different they look. So I'll be sharing those in the group. And if you're not a member of our group, we would love to have you over there. So make sure that you check it out. Our group is called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. Now, believe it or not, there are two knockoff groups that are all called, they're both called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. We've filed intellectual property theft reports on those Facebook groups, but I don't know if Facebook is doing much about them. So if you're looking for the right group, make sure it's the one with 48,000 members. That's the Gina K Designs and Stamp TV official group. That's the one you want to join. Come on over there and join us. We've got 48,000 members that are so fun and so just inspiring, beautiful card projects and lots of inspiration. And we would love you to share your Gina K Designs projects in there as well. If you see something that you like and our rockstar Brianne shared the link, but you missed it, you can head over to our website at ginakdesigns.com and find all of our products, including the new kit there, so you can pick up that and get the stencil and all of the other fun things that are included in that. And if you liked today's video, and we sure hope that you have, we would love it if you would give it a thumbs up. That helps our channel. And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you never miss another video. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here with us today. We hope that you enjoyed this little inking video. And if you're watching us on replay, we're so glad that you've joined us too. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stampin' Chat Live. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay warm. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.